Find where the graph of y equals sine cubed 3x has a horizontal tangent line on the interval from 0 to 1. Okay, so first of all, if we want to know where there's a horizontal tangent line, horizontal lines would be when the slope is 0. So we need to figure out for this function when the slope is 0. So we're going to find a derivative, which will tell us the slope. So y prime equals, okay, let me rewrite this. That's the shorthand trig notation, and what it means is the sine of 3x is cubed. So our outermost function is a power function, cube, and inside of that we've got a sine function, and inside of that we got a 3x. So we got a double chain rule going on. So first we take the derivative of the outermost function, so power out in front, decrease the power by 1, don't change the stuff inside. And then we do our first chain rule times the derivative of what's inside. The derivative of sine 3x is cosine 3x, but it's not an x in the cosine, it's a 3x, so we got another chain rule times the derivative of what was inside, so that's 3. So let's rewrite our derivative. Y prime equal, I'll multiply those two 3's together, and then I've got sine squared 3x and cosine 3x. We are interested in where that equals 0 because that's where the horizontal tangents would be. Well, the 9 out in front doesn't matter then, because we're going to figure out where the rest of that equals 0, and 9 times 0 is still 0. Or you could think of dividing both sides by 9 and it's just gone. Okay, so let's look at sine squared, and let's set that equal to 0 and solve it so we can figure out where that equals 0. Well, we could square root both sides, and that would get rid of the squared, and so then we'd have sine 3x equals 0. And now let's think of the unit circle. And here's 0, here's pi over 2, here's pi. And think of when is the sign 0. The sign is 0 at 0, but our interval is from 0 to 1 and doesn't include 0, so that won't be one of them. And the next value on the unit circle where the sign of something is 0 would be at pi. So if we had, but it wouldn't be x equal pi because we have 3x, so it would be 3x equaling pi. And then solving for x, it would be x equal pi thirds. But pi thirds, pi is 3.14 something divided by 3, so the top is bigger than the bottom, so that fraction is bigger than 1. And we were just looking on the interval from 0 to 1, so we're not going to get a solution from the sine function. There isn't anything on the interval from 0 to 1 where it equals 0. So now let's move over to the other factor. Then maybe this factor could equal 0. Let's see if there's a horizontal tangent from this factor. If not, then the answer is there are no places where there's a horizontal tangent between 0 and 1. Okay, so let's think about cosine. And we think of where is the cosine 0, and that is at pi over 2. So if we had 3x equal pi over 2, and we divide by 3, we get x equal pi over 6. Pi divided by 6 is 0.5235 and so forth. So that is between 0 and 1. Now, if we look for the next place where the cosine was 0, that would be over here at 3 pi over 2. And even by the time we divide by 3, we'd have pi over 2, which is bigger than 1. So there's only going to be one answer for this one. If you're solving yours and it's a little bit different, it's still going to be the idea of just think on the unit circle, and then remember you have to divide by 3 to get x by itself. So the only place this has a horizontal tangent is at pi sixth. I want to show you what this graph looks like. So here is the graph, and this is pi sixth, and we can see the horizontal tangent right there. And these other places where it goes horizontal are after we get, this was at pi thirds it looks like, and we knew that it was at 0, and those are outside of our 0 to 1 interval.